Welcome back to Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Reminding you, head over to youtube.com, put Locked On Sports Atlanta into the search browser, find our page, subscribe, leave us a comment there. As always, we are free and available on all of your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. Find us there, leave us a 5-star review, and you can also follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. I'm a big fan of Bill Bender, who is the national college football writer for the Sporting News. I talk to Bill pretty frequently on my college football show, and he comes out with his annual list of coaches in college football, ranking them. So his list came out the other day, and he's obviously got Nick Saban at number 1, Dabo at number 2, and then at number 3, who has moved up. Last year, he had him at number 7. This year, he's got him at number 3, is Kirby Smart, with Ryan Day at 4, Luke Fickell at 5, Brian Kelly at 6, Lincoln Riley, Jimbo Fisher, Jim Harbaugh, and Kyle Whittingham round out the top 10. So is Kirby Smart the third best coach in college football? I don't think there's much doubt now that he is. I think the real question is this. How close is Kirby Smart to being right behind Nick Saban as far as best coaches in college football? I do agree that Dabo Swinney is still the second best coach in college football. You look at his track record of success. Look, I know they had a quote unquote down year for Clemson. When winning 10 games is a down year for Clemson, that tells you a lot about where the state of the program is. And I really do think that if I go through kind of in my early preseason rankings, my way too early top 25, I think it's Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, but then I've got Clemson number 4. I think Clemson is still a top 5 program in the country. And if you look back at the defensive personnel that they're going to bring back this year, they have an outstanding freshman quarterback that they're bringing in. If they can get DJU to do anything, to help their offense out. And more importantly is I think that they're going to be coached better. They can't be coached worse on offense than they were last year. I think that actually losing their OC was an upgrade at the end of the day. And so I think that they're going to be better if they can stay healthy as well. But I don't think the gap is all that far now for Kirby to be the second best coach in the country. When you look at obviously coming off a national championship year, he obviously has played for another national championship, and you look at the direction that the program is headed with all the recruiting that he does, all the top tier guys, and the fact that they are getting the exact opposite of what Jeff Collins wanted, and that's Sunday NFL players. You can't have more guys that are going to play on Sunday than what Georgia just trotted out and showed you this past year. And as we said, they've got a whole bunch more guys. They're going to have another 3-4 guys, probably minimum, that are going to get drafted in the first round of the upcoming NFL draft for 2023. There's going to be 3 or 4 more guys. It's going to be Nolan Smith. It's going to be Jalen Carter. It's going to be Keely Ringo. Start with those 3 guys right there. Those are all first-round draft picks next year, barring some catastrophic injury or something like that. Those are all first-round picks. So the direction of the program and who's best to continue to win national championships and maybe who's best to repeat, Georgia's right there. And I know that hasn't fit the narrative for so long in this town about, where Georgia is and what they could be and this and that and everything like that, right? I mean, for years, I heard so much about the Georgia program. When I first moved to Atlanta 30 years ago, it was, Georgia, 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 Georgia. Well, why weren't they able to get over the hump? Why weren't they able to close the deal? Why weren't they able to be a program that was consistently at the top of the heap year in, year out? I hear about the facilities. I hear about the recruiting. I hear about the high school football. I hear about this. I hear about that. I hear about the logo and this, that, and the other. Why didn't it work? Well, they went through a few coaches. I was here for Ray Goff. I was here for Mark Richt. I mean, I remember all that. And Mark Richt really turned the program in a big direction. And then I will say that I was not in favor of firing Mark Richt at the time that they did. I thought he deserved another year to try to get things back on track. But I was wrong and they were right. And they figured out that Kirby Smart was the guy and they brought him in and he's completely changed the culture of the program. And I don't say that in a bad way to Mark Richt or anything like that, but this program looks and feels different under Kirby Smart. And they are getting the top tier elite talent. They don't take a back seat to Alabama in talent. But Nick Saban is still the best coach in college football because he does it year in, year out, no matter what's thrown at him. Oh, we're going to lose multiple NFL quarterbacks. Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll bring in the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback this year. Oh, well, we're going to lose all these wide receivers. We had 4 first-round NFL wide receivers. No problem. I got 2 more first-round wide receivers are going to be on my roster. Well, They have all these linebackers and defensive ends and stuff like that. Well, you know what? We're going to have more guys that are going to be drafted in the first round. Well, the old way of having Mount Cody and Marcel Darius and Mark Barron, that's not going to work anymore. No problem. I'll go get me lighter guys that can do everything on the defensive line, and I'll bring in Eddie Jackson and those kinds of guys, and they'll be first-team All-Americans, and they'll be all NFL draft picks. So he's been able to adapt in college football unlike anybody else. Kirby is definitely in that mindset now. I think if Kirby finds himself in another big-time year, you could very much make it. And maybe, look, maybe the reality is that Kirby needs one more national title. If Kirby Smart does win, if Georgia does win the national title this year, to me, there's no question that he'll be right behind Nick Saban as the top coaches in college football. I think it's real close now between what Dabo is and where Kirby Smart is. If for whatever reason Clemson has another sort of stub your toe kind of year, and especially playing in the ACC, I think you look at the direction of the Georgia program, and it does make you wonder. Does make you wonder that how long will Nick Saban be at Alabama? In 3 or 4 years, is Nick Saban still at Alabama? Is Dabo still at Clemson? Kirby Smart is on the fast track to be potentially the best coach in college football. And I've asked this question about, how everybody loves to go after Nick Saban and they go after Dabo Swinney because of what they say and what they do, and everybody likes to take their shots and things like that. How long before Kirby Smart is that guy? How long before, Urban Meyer was one of those guys that everybody loved to take their shots at Urban Meyer. And I'm not saying that Kirby Smart is doing anything wrong or whatever like that, but when you get to the top of the heap in the coaching profession, everybody's coming after you. Everybody wants to throw darts at you. Everybody wants to find something wrong with you. Everybody wants to find a reason to knock you down, right? I mean, it's sort of the American story, right? We love to build guys up just to chop their legs out from underneath them, right? We love the story of Dabo Swinney when he's coming up and making the program great and this, that, and the other. Then he says some things that some people don't agree with, and it's, well, let's cut his ankles off and we got to knock him down and this, that, and the other. We love Nick Saban, greatest coach of all time, but man, what did he say about Deion Sanders and Texas A&M and this, that, and the other? We got to chop him down, right? How long before Kirby Smart is in that discussion as well? How long before Kirby Smart is one of those guys that everybody in America comes to and starts trying to take their shots at, which, again, I will say is not a bad thing because that means you've made it to the top of the heap. So I don't think there's much doubt that if I have to rank coaches in the country, Kirby Smart is clearly, the number 3 coach right now, probably nipping on the heels of Dabo Swinney to be the second best coach in the country. And maybe one more big successful season for Kirby Smart catapults him over that. But look, we saw Arch Manning over the weekend at Georgia. You get into those kinds of transformative potential players, because that's what Dabo did. Was he got the transformative, he got the Trevor Lawrences and the Travis Etiennes and those caliber players that are transformative players to your program. Kirby Smart looks like he's bringing those guys in too. You get a guy like Arch Manning, it completely changes up the complexion of where your program is. And so Georgia is certainly in as great a position as anybody in college football right now. All right, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Thanks for making Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery your first listen. Don't forget, make A to Z with Mark Zinno your second listen every day. Mark is back in Atlanta doing his takes. Obviously, it gets you fired up. It's takes you may not like, but certainly takes that you need to hear. You can find Mark available on our YouTube page, Locked On Sports Atlanta. Head over there, subscribe today. You can also find it on all of your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Odyssey. Download it for free today. Leave us a 5-star review, and then you can follow me on my personal Twitter page. That would be at JMCH316. We will talk with you tomorrow. It's been Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.